Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
State notorious for killer cops to give police full immunity for brutality committed on duty. In a state that has become infamous for the number of citizens killed by police, the governor is ramming through a bill that will grant all cops immunity. By Matt Agarist, January 11, 2018. Santa Fe NM. In a move that would be a near-death blow to the police accountability movement, New Mexico's governor, Susana Martinez, is pushing legislation through the House that would grant legal immunity to cops for their actions while on duty. Clearly ignoring the fact that New Mexico is notorious for killer cops, the legislation has many supporters. I don't believe that police officers should be under this constant threat of lawsuits that will often cause them to pause, Martinez recently told the Albuquerque Journal. If they're following their training, there should be something that protects them. However, their training has been used to justify the outright murder of citizens throughout the state, many of which have been captured on video. And, as TFTP previously reported, New Mexico cops have been caught editing and deleting these videos too. On March 16, 2014, Albuquerque police officers executed James Boyd for illegal camping. The entire incident was captured on the officer's body cam, which led to the now-retired Officer Keith Sandy and Officer Dominique Perez being charged with the murder of the 38-year-old homeless man suffering schizophrenia in August 2015. However, because of the already corrupt and broken justice system in New Mexico, Perez went from facing second-degree murder charges to returning to the Albuquerque Police Department with an extra $143,159 in back wages and benefits. Perez is not alone. Even when grand juries find killer cops unjustified, oftentimes, the DOE will simply refuse to prosecute. Advertisement. On August 8, 2013, officers John DeBaca and Stephen Font pulled over 26-year-old Roberto Mendez. Inside the vehicle were 4 other passengers, including a 4-year-old boy. DeBaca and Font executed Mendez and then lied, claiming he shot at them first. Mendez was unarmed. Read more. Police turn child's birthday party into chaos, trap, and taser parents in front of children. All of this evidence came out in an investigation, yet the cops weren't charged. Now, the government wants to increase the already horrid problem of police accountability in this state. James Boyd and Roberto Mendez were just 2 of many people to be put in an early grave thanks to New Mexico police. In fact, if we compare just the city of Albuquerque to the entire country of England, this deadly problem can be brought into perspective. From 2010 through 2014, there were 4 fatal police shootings in England, which has a population of about 52 million. By contrast, Albuquerque, NM, with a population 1% the size of England's, had 26 fatal police shootings during that same period. The problem of cops killing citizens in New Mexico became such an epidemic in 2014 that the Department of Justice actually had to step in. The Justice Department investigation found APD officers too frequently use deadly force against people who pose a minimal threat and in situations where the conduct of the officers heightens the danger and contributes to the need to use force. APD officers use less lethal force, including electronic-controlled weapons, on people who are passively resisting, non-threatening, observably unable to comply with orders or pose only a minimal threat to the officers, and encounters between APD officers and persons with mental illness and in crisis too frequently result in a use of force or a higher level of force than necessary. The DOJ also cited systemic deficiencies which contribute to these patterns, which include deficient policies, failed accountability, inadequate training and supervision, ineffective systems of investigation and adjudication, the absence of a culture of community policing and a lack of sufficient civilian oversight. Read more. For the first time in history, British Medical Journal calls for the legalization of all drugs. Illustrating how corrupt and inept the system of holding police accountable in New Mexico actually is, 3 of the members of the Police Oversight Commission quit, publicly declaring the feudal nature of their office. The city attorney's office addressed the POC on April 10, 2014, and stated that we have no power to decide against the APD chief or against the independent review officer's findings regarding citizens' complaints, reads the resignation letter. I cannot continue to pretend or deceive the members of our community into believing that our city has any real civilian oversight. So the governor's solution to the brutal nature of cops in her state and the utter failure they've been at stopping it is to grant them all immunity. Seems legit. If cops shooting citizens doesn't make you outraged enough, police in New Mexico also shoot their own cops. As we previously reported, Officer Jacob Grant was critically wounded after being shot approximately 8 times by Lieutenant Greg Brackle during an undercover drug bust. According to Grant's tort claim filed after the shooting, there are multiple reasons Brackle should not have fired the shots into the vehicle. Grant points out in the notice that Brackle knew him well, knew what clothes he was wearing, and even knew exactly where he would be sitting in the car. The court document states that there was no threat, and rather than cease fire, Lieutenant Brackle instead repositioned himself, and continued to fire, shooting until his gun was empty. Sadly, only the taxpayers were held accountable and Brackle remains a cop and was never held liable. Read more. Dr. Simona Tibu is brutally beaten during traffic stop by sheriff and then charged with assault. Luckily, there are still a few people who think this legislation is a bad idea and are speaking out against it. Standing up for officers who are using excessive force and violating the Constitution is exactly the wrong way to move, said Stephen Robert Allen, the Public Policy Director for the American Civil Liberties Union in New Mexico. I don't know what problem the governor thinks she's addressing, but she seems to be going in the wrong direction. We agree.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.